Hello everyone, back at the bus. A lot of progress has been made. So I'll show you what we're doing and kind of how we're doing it. You can see we're starting to get floor in, which is nice. We actually have something to walk in. The first layer of floor is almost done. So what's happening is we got the wheel wells done. I'll show you these back wheel wells. These guys right here, piece of metal in the center. So this guy right here had to be done on all four wheels. It's a piece of metal that's bent over and held down along the perimeter here, all the way along the perimeter. And you have to go underneath, take the tire off, pull down the fiberglass wheel well, and then pull the old one out and put this one in. The other ones were so badly rusted that they weren't attached along these edges anymore. So they had to come out. So what I did was, we got the metal, bent it, primered here. It's a pain in the butt. It was a long process. We actually attached the metal brake to the bus frame in order to be able to get it done correctly. Sorry. Oh. A few things just fell. So it's nice to have those done. I've taken basically this rubber flex and I've sprayed that along the edges and over the bolts. So what I've done is essentially sealed that gap right there. I'll go over that little section again, but you can see how it's all sealed. I sprayed the bolts as well. So it's doing it's dual purpose in my eyes. Not only is it sealing from water entering, it's also going to prevent the nuts backing off. I put thread locker on there obviously, but this is kind of the ultimate thread locker because you can see the bolt and it's now covered in rubber. So very small chance that that could ever come off. It's a semi-permanent solution. It's going to work for what we need it for. So it's not technically the way it's supposed to be done. Those are supposed to be flange bolts so that you can remove them from the inside. If my feeling is that if this ever needs to get replaced, at that point it'll be time to replace the fiberglass wheel well as well. So it'll probably all just be cut out anyhow. So I feel like for what we're getting, this will last, should last years and years and years. So that's what we've done with the wheel wells. The ones up front look a little different. They were a little harder to bend, but more or less the same principle, and they're all bolted in just like that. Then you can see the new flooring. I mean, I'll take you back here. Lauren did the whole backrest there, back seat. So back here what we have is the beginning of the second layer and also the first layer. So you can see what we've done is we got these bigger self-drilling bolts there, screws, and I've used those where possible, and then we've also got these smaller ones here, which in some areas that's all I was able to use. But it did the job very well. This stuff is held down, it's solid. It was great. So I used quite a few screws just because I don't want any vibration, and there's it's important to get this stuff firmly down. You might have noticed this foam here, and you can kind of see what we've done here is, and this was kind of a mistake on my part, should have had this still wet, but that's construction glue. So I'd put little beads of construction glue all along just to hold this foam in place, and this foam is called Sill Seal foam. It comes in rolls. It's really cheap. It's $5 for a 50-foot roll, 3.5 inches. Really cheap stuff, and it's given us a really good seal. So you can see there's no gap or anything because that foam is taking out any of the differences in surface that we would have seen. Really happy with it. really glad that we did that. And it goes all the way up the bus. I basically put it on all the thick sections, so some of the side sections here, I'll put a piece here over that whole area. But on the edges, I'm not really doing it. It's, you know, it's great stuff. I really enjoy it. So you can see I just went over all this area with the fresh coat of the rubber seal. Not as clean as the other one, but it'll cure. I'll spray a little bit more on it and then let it cure again, and then all this denim insulation will go in here, and I'll put this piece on top and put that piece on top, and then I'll continue on the second layer of flooring, which we can see here. We have the second layer. So what this is going to be, we've got the 2x4 studs that will span the width of the bus. Of course, we're going to leave that gap there. I could have bought longer pieces of wood instead of your standard 8-foot stud, but it would have been a lot of waste and rather pointless, because in reality this section right here is going to be runners, so we'll have, you know, like a 1/2-inch runner that goes the length of the bus, and then finished wall on top of that, so the finished wall will probably come out to here. So it's actually, I'm glad that we have a gap here, because I'm going to fill that with insulation. So instead of having metal on wood, we'll have metal on insulation on wood. So it'll help protect the metal, the wood a little bit. And you can see kind of what I did. I filled the gap in between the metal and plywood with construction glue. An expensive way to do it, but it worked. We started buying the bigger contractors' tubes of construction glue. So all of that is really nice. It's going in pretty well, just using wood-to-wood screws. Pretty easy, and it's in there solid. We'll have rigid foam, which you might have seen right there. Those big blocks will be cut into small sections, so there'll be a piece of rigid foam that goes in here. I'll take spray foam and go around the edge with it, and then it'll be a completely sealed void. So we'll end up with 1.5 inches of insulation over the entire flooring on top of everything that's underneath the plywood, which there's nothing over the storage bays. It will only be 1.5 inches, and then over like the wheel wells and stuff, you'll see there's going to be 5.5 inches there and another 1.5 inches on top of that. It's going to be great. And then we have all the plywood all ready to go for the top of the 2x4s. So once the insulation goes in, you could throw the the plywood on top of these 2x4s and then screw those down. So it's going to be a pretty thick floor, but I'm really happy with it. It's going to be sturdy, and because it's all sandwiched together, it really ties everything in. I mean, this is just making these joints stronger, because instead of having, you know, this joint going all the way down the bus, we're now spanning it with something that's going to tie both the left and right hand side piece together. I'm really happy with the decision we made to go there. We were going to run the electrical in the floor, but we decided on doing it in the walls. Thought of a better way to do it than what we were going to do, so I'll show you that when we get there, but it was a much better option than going through the floor. All in all, really happy with the way the bus is coming, and it's starting to look like something you can enjoy now. Before it was just a huge mess. It's getting cleaner, and hopefully by the end of this weekend all that wood will be down and all the insulation will be in. And I'll try to do another video if that happens. Thanks for watching, and take care. Till next time.